Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are continuing in our series of videos of education, inspiration, information, guidance. And today I'd like to share with you a Rashi with respect to a passage in the book of Exodus. This is where Moses is speaking with God, and God is telling Moses to go to Pharaoh, go to Egypt, and say, let my people go. And Moses was, to say the least, extremely reluctant to do this. And one of the reasons Moses gives is that I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. Heavy of speech, heavy of tongue. And the explanation, of course, is, well, what does he mean by that? Our sages say that Moses had a speech impediment. It's not exactly clear what the speech impediment was, but for the sake of argument, let's say it was a severe stutter. And he's arguing back and forth with God for days. I don't know, I'm not the right guy for the job, I'm slow of speech and slow of tongue, they're not going to listen to me. And God's saying, no, you should go, no, I can't, I don't want to. So the obvious thing to me, at any rate, the obvious thing for me is that, well, why didn't Moses say, oh, by the way, since I have this speech impediment, wouldn't it be nice for you to remove this so I can speak eloquently? Moses doesn't ask for that. God, on his own, also doesn't say, oh, you're slow of speech and tongue? No problem, I can take care of that. Boom, you're cured. That doesn't happen, so this is puzzling. And why didn't Moses ask to have his speech impediment cured? In order to understand this, you have to understand why Moses had a speech impediment. When he was a toddler, he grew up in Pharaoh's house. And he would sit on Pharaoh's lap. And Pharaoh, of course, knew that he was a Hebrew boy. And playing with Pharaoh on his lap, he would sometimes reach for and clutch the jewels around Pharaoh's neck. If you've ever seen King Tut, you see these wonderful, elaborate jewels, necklaces around Pharaoh, and also his crown. What happened was, young Moses would take the crown at the jewels, and sometimes he would put the crown on his head. He was just a little kid. Pharaoh's advisors became concerned because they knew that at one point the Jewish people would have a liberator. The Hebrews, the Israelites, would have a liberator who would come and save them and get them out of bondage. They suspected this very, very highly. And they said, you know what? You got to get rid of this kid. He's going to be trouble. Another advisor, who, by the way, was Jethro, who eventually became his father-in-law, he says, Pharaoh, come on, he's just being a kid. You know, relax. Kids grab things. You know, they do. Anyone's ever held a young child, immediately they go for the glasses. That's what they do. Don't read too much into this. Pharaoh was still a little concerned. And so Jethro came up with an interesting solution. He says, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get two plates. On one, we're going to have a couple of jewels, and on the other one, we're going to have a couple of glowing coals. We'll see which one he goes for. Sure enough, this is what they do. A plate full of rubies and diamonds, and the other one, a couple of glowing coals. Now, Moses is a smart kid. He's about to go for the jewels. The angel Gabriel, moves his hand aside, and the little child Moses grabs a coal, and immediately what happens when you touch something, sometimes reflexively you grab to it. Also when you burn your hand, the first thing you do, put it in your mouth. And so the coal, the burning coal, before anyone could stop him, scarred his mouth and tongue. And that was the source of the speech impediment. Why does this make a difference? Because Moses never asked God to cure the speech impediment because Moses wanted to keep it as a reminder to always be grateful for God that guided his hand and basically saved his life. God did not on his own cure the speech impediment because he knew that Moses didn't ask for it because he wanted to keep the speech impediment. And I think that's a very, very interesting insight into how someone could take what appears to others to be a defect and use it as a source for gratitude and inspiration. We're going to be doing more videos along this line. Please come back. Please watch. Please learn. I hope you're finding them of use to you. And until next time, on behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.